London, the city of the royal family, the law, and the streets are considered the safest in Europe. At least, that's what I believed was until I decided to walk alone into neighborhoods that the travel map intentionally left blank. Here, your presence needs to be explained, and I don't have a safe enough explanation. London is hailed as one of the most multicultural and secure cities in the world, but in these neighborhoods, the rules don't seem to exist. Police are rare. Cameras are useless decorations, decaying buildings, narrow passages where you can't turn quickly, ideal hidden corners for everything you don't want to imagine. This is not the London you see on Instagram. This is London where locals sincerely advise you. If you keep going, you won't be able to turn around. What haunted me was not immediate fear, but the feeling that this had lasted a long time, that this was not an accident, which is the consequence. Consequences of inequality, of poverty is hidden, of a developed country but letting its neighborhoods slide into lawlessness. When I left that neighborhood, only one thought remained in my mind. I was lucky to survive, and I'll never come back. If you are planning to set foot in Westminster to travel, be careful. Because with a crime rate of 134 cases per 1,000 people per year, the possibility of you accidentally becoming the main character in tomorrow's news is not an abstract number. I'm standing in the middle of Westminster Centre. The place is considered among the 5 most dangerous districts in London. Highly dangerous labeling is, but this place is still like a magnet attracting people. The population is only about 211,000 people, but during the day it can swell to about 1 million because tourists, commuters, shoppers, people pass by and then disappear. A huge funnel sucked people from all over. And it's the mechanism here that is so modern, urban, and crowd that helps bad guys dissolve more easily. We often have the habit of holding our phones to surf on the road, but in Westminster, I recommend keeping it in your pocket or holding your hand tightly. Because the most realistic risk here is losing things, not the action movie type. It's the kind of thing where you look at your phone screen for 1 more second, and then the whole day off turns into a business of locking cards. According to statistics in local newspapers, theft from the person in Westminster alone can reach 2,721 cases in just 1 month. The snatching mechanism is phone snatching. The group of thieves use electric bicycles or motorbikes to rush close to the sidewalk, snatch the phone in the hand of people texting, listening to calls, taking photos, and then completely disappear into long shopping routes. For local residents, losing their phones means spending more money and time. As for tourists in the 2.0 era like this, losing a phone is like losing a amputated. We are heading towards Soho and the West End, one of Westminster's second largest entertainment centers. This is the biggest gathering point for the dark side of the nighttime industry. Dim purple lights, bustling atmosphere, vibrant music. This place is 100% a paradise for those who love all-night parties. Standing here makes it feel like your joy and excitement can push to the top. But joy is not synonymous with absolute safety. Because after midnight, the risk is more of disturbing order and fighting because everyone has just had a hard time with some alcohol. And once again, the robberies started targeting drunk people to snatch their watches, their wallets. Westminster doesn't scare you to death like a jump scare in a horror movie, but it scares you. Having to redo your bank card, and for adults, this is sometimes even scarier. And yet, because besides the problem of crime, there is a more difficult layer to talk about: urban aesthetics. Be careful with your every step, because if you don't pay attention, you may accidentally have to walk on that sidewalk. If it's not dung, it's also possible to accidentally kick a pile of trash that collects at a lamppost or in front of the door of any house. So, in just one frame, you can go through the national symbol, then see trash, smells, feces stuck on the sidewalk, or even pieces of your life sleeping quickly in a hidden corner. 2 types of worlds separated, several meters of concrete. Westminster is the face of British history and power, but it's also where hundreds of thousands of people pass by every day without even knowing they're entering a space with a very high risk density, especially with personal assets. If you want to keep track of more dramatic parts, multiple mechanisms, and data, subscribe to the channel not to watch shock, but to see together why a city rich in history operates like a machine that makes people careful every step of the way. Westminster can be a place where you lose things in the light, and the next place, you might lose nothing, except for your own heart rate. My next destination is Camden. The day here really overwhelmed me. Looks like a rebellious London postcard, markets, music, streetwear, the smell of food, the sound of trains. Commuters are so thick that you feel like you're being pushed with the flow. Not walking. It's fun. It lives. And because of that, it's where you easily lose the most precious thing in a crowded city. Attention. If Westminster is where you get picked up by between light for travel and power, then Camden is the other version, crowded, fast, and full of moments of voluntary distraction. UFI's aggregate data based on Metropolitan Police data for May 2024 to May 2025 puts Camden in a very high position. A total of 46,232 cases, equivalent to 186.4 cases per 1,000 people. Theft alone is 23,373 cases, and dangerous situation against the person is 7,633 cases. Listen to cold numbers. But it doesn't feel cold in Camden. It's noisy, it's bright, it's stimulating. And when the senses are stretched like that, the opportunist needs only a small gap. The mechanism here is not action movie, it is the economics of attention. You stop to take pictures, you stand in line, you bend down to edit the map, you turn around to find friends to go with, and in exactly one rhythm of movement, the phone left its hands, the wallet left its pockets, and then disappeared into the very crowd that made Camden so attractive. The most annoying thing is, Camden also has night shift. The venue, bar, and outing make this area live almost 24/7, and when night comes, the safety problem changes color. Not because someone suddenly turned into a monster, but because of changing conditions. Light, intoxication, fatigue, self-control. The Camden government also acknowledged the role of alcohol in nightlife and economy when formulating the strategy involved, meaning that this is not a personal sensation thing, but something urban must govern. And nighttime economy studies also show a link between drinking too much and disorder, in the true sense that if the city has to pay the bill, London sells you freedom. But what you pay for is constant vigilance. Not vicious, just reality. If you want to go this way, less sensational, more mechanics, more data, subscribe to the channel, not to watch shock, but to explore together why modern England has areas that make people hold their phones tightly, like grasping the rhythm of their own lives. And now, we leave Camden. The next point is really twisted. A place that looks extremely safe for being too rich, but is a place where people are on guard at the right time. It feels like anything related to the name Kensington is a curse. Kensington in America is homeless hell. Kensington and Chelsea in the UK ranks very high in the borough group with a high crime density. About 24,528 cases, equivalent to 155.5 cases per 1,000 people in a summary table based on Metropolitan Police data. The criminal structure here is also very capital. Theft remains the mainstay, about 9,973 thefts in the same period, while violence against the person about 4,978 thefts. To put it bluntly, much of the risk is not random violence like the movie, it is asset risk, and the assets here are, not modest, clock, handbags, branded clothes, new phone, nice car. Those things are not just utensils, it's a signal. Signals let others know you're worth their attention. This is the most interesting point when filming found footage in Kensington and Chelsea. You turn a perfect street, then ask yourself, is safety a feeling or a result? Because the feeling of security is sometimes just urban design plus the habit of believing in appearance. The more decent a place is, the less one thinks about having to hold on to things. And opportunistic criminals don't need much. It just takes the moment you put down your bag. Stand for a photo or pull out your phone in the crowd at shopping lines, train stations, and check-in points. There is another stinging patch that feels like the system optimizes towards enough to use, even in rich places. The press has reported on the closure of a number of police reception points, including the mention of Kensington and Chelsea. Making people wonder, even this expensive area is being cut down in a businesslike way, when people feel the door to public service is further away. They don't need to see criminals to worry. They worry because they feel they have to worry more about themselves. And that's the sarcastic thing here. Kensington and Chelsea don't scare you. It seduces you. It makes you believe that everything is done. Just pay the right price. But safety is not an item. It is operational capacity. When that capacity is stretched, the risk changes shape, not disappears. What do you think about this paradox? The richer, more beautiful a place, the easier it is to catch us off guard. And letting us off guard is the ingredient of loss. Have you ever found yourself being taxed for believing in the look of somewhere? Not a money tax, but a trust tax. If you want to go next this way, calm down, have data, have mechanisms, no exaggeration, subscribe to the channel, not to watch shock, but to work together to see where risk in a modern society often comes from, and why it keeps changing shape, because after Kensington and Chelsea, we will turn to East London. There, the risk is no longer in the brand or the facade. It lies within the distance between two worlds standing in the same frame and pretending not to see each other. I'll start Tower Hamlets with a small detail, not with skyline. One normal afternoon, you get out of the station, walk for a few minutes, and realize you're walking through two speeds of life. On one side, people go fast because they have meeting schedules. On the other side, people go fast because they don't want to stand back for too long. Same city, same curb. The difference is in the way the feet know how to behave. Tower Hamlets are often called danger zone, but the danger here is not just crime, it's the feeling of being layered. A new layer of glass, an old layer of concrete, a class of promises, a class of life. If you look at the aggregated data based on Metropolitan Police data for the period May 2024 to May 2025, Tower Hamlets is placed in a high group, about 39,517 cases, equivalent to 124.5 cases per 1,000 people, of which theft about 11,865 cases and dangerous situation against the person about 10,823 cases. This number is notable because it's not just in favor of losing stuff. It shows that a whole layer of human-to-human collisions exists in parallel, and that often happens in places where there is a lot of pressure on each other, but crime figures are only the tip. The new bottom is what determines the breathing rate of the area. Tower Hamlets is mentioned by documents on the Deprivation Index as a place suffering from high deprivation levels compared to many other boroughs. At the national level, indices of deprivation. 2025 also highlights Tower Hamlets for income deprivation among children. In short, poverty here is not a feeling. It is a structure that can follow children year after year. And when the background is weak, everything above must be tight. Public service, family tight, community, even faith must be strong. You see that in the details that don't go to the headline. Ground floor windows are fenced. The concrete walkway is long. Some street corners look designed for people to pass through, not for people to live on. This is not to judge anyone. This is a question of governance. Because if a city can erect a glass tower in a decade, which takes decades to fix the foundation, is the promise being sent to the wrong address? If you want to go this way, calm down. Lots of mechanisms, lots of data, no exaggeration. Subscribe to the channel, not to watch shock, but let's see together why a seemingly modern city still makes people go fast, even though no one chases them. Westminster is where you lose things in the light. Tower Hamlets is where you lose your illusions. In the next place, you will understand why there are night paths that do not need to be dark, as long as you are out of tune. Lambeth has a very strange kind of energy. It doesn't threaten you right away. It just makes you feel like you should go a little faster. And when you start walking fast, you've entered the rhythm that a tense city wants you to take with you. This is where local residents tell you to go at night when you know it makes sense. Because Lambeth lives well at night. Brixton, Vauxhall, South Bank, trains, bars, crowded streets leave at the same time. The night here is like a necklace. Joy passes, then leaves the bill of order behind. It's not because someone suddenly gets worse, but because the conditions change. Light changes, alcohol yeast changed, fatigue changes. And when people change, risks change. If you look at the aggregate data based on Metropolitan Police data for the May 2024 to May 2025 period, Lambeth is in the high group, about 41,800 cases, equivalent to 125.0 cases per 1,000 people. This number is important because it says one thing directly. Lambeth has both a risk of losing items because of east and a risk of colliding because of night. It's not just a crime story, it is an urban one-beat story. But what bothers older people is not the numbers. It's a feeling like you are having to manage yourself like a project. Let's take the route. Let's go back to now. Where to stand. What to hold in your hand. The mechanism usually lies in the moment of shift change, when you leave the shop, when you change routes, when you stand and look at the train board, when you open your phone to call a car. That is the minute you are most tired, and also the minute you are most careless. The crowd is no longer a happy crowd, it's a hasty crowd, and the crowd quickly resembled a mist. It covers everything, cover even good people, and cover the person looking for the gap. Many people will ask, is dangerous situation increasing? Is it as scary as rumored? The decent answer is, it's up to you to measure what. The Met has bulletin about enabled crime knife, which has a lower recorded period of 2025 than 2024. But a reduced headline doesn't mean the same feeling of decreasing at the same speed, because the feeling is created by so many other things. Light, noise, and the simple truth that everyone wants to go home quickly. Lambeth is also not a movie set. The report state of the borough states a population of approximately 322,000 people. That is, this is where people raise children, go to work, pay bills, and live a real life. And because people live truly, they hate the feeling of having to defend like they are going through a test. If you want to go next this way, calm down, have data, have mechanisms, don't exaggerate, subscribe to the channel, not to watch shock, but to see together why a place that should be relaxing turns into a place where people have to manage every step of their own. End of solo trip through the places called dangerous most in London. And what I didn't expect in England was not a dramatic moment. It is the normality of risk. Losing things is like an invisible tax. The crowd was like a mist that obscured everything. The night economy is like a chain. A little fun, a long time of fatigue, and in some places, inequality is right in the frame, standing a few meters next to each other like two worlds. Perhaps the scariest thing is not a dark alley. It's about having to live in vigilance mode even when you're in the civilized center. A modern society where ordinary people have to tell themselves, put away your phone, go fast, don't get out of tune. Sounds like travel advice, but it's actually a diagnosis. If you find this video worth thinking about, click like to let me know you want more of this type of analysis. If you have friends or relatives preparing to come to London, share this video as a calm reminder. And if you want to keep track of the deeper workings into the mechanics, data, and very old corners of modern England, subscribe to the channel, not to watch shock, but to understand together clearly what is going on and where it is going. Before closing, please note, this video is a field experience in a specific moment. It does not represent the whole of London, nor is it intended to attribute a group of people or an individual. The figures I refer to come from public sources or quoted reports, and I always try to clarify their context. If you see any additional facts or you have a different experience, leave a comment. I read, And I want to hear. Last question for you. If a city needs you to always be vigilant to safe, is it real safe? Or just a silent agreement between the people and the system's helplessness? Thank you for watching the entire video. See you in the next videos.